Oh, and we're live, folks. I'm back with a new video. You see, I got a new chain, a new gift. This is the Ankh. This is a representation. It's basically a Kemetic cross. The oval represents the womb of the woman. Well, only women have wombs, but and the eye of Horus represents the pineal gland and the third eye. So this is basically a Kemetic cross, like I said before, and this is holy. It represents the holiness of the woman and also the holiness of your eye, your pineal gland, which connects us to the spiritual realm. So yeah, with that being said, I'm about to get into why it is wrong to say Egyptians and Aboriginal Americans / Native Americans worshipped man in nature. That was not the case. They didn't worship man in nature. They were aligned with the universe, which allowed them to appreciate and live in harmony with nature. They didn't worship man, and if you wanted to say anything, they worshiped women, which that's also not the case. So, with that being said, they built pyramids. They built pyramids and temples for the women. I'm gonna say it again. They built pyramids and temples, holy temples for the women. I just showed you this chain for a reason. I showed you it was a holy cross, basically a holy cross, and the oval represented the womb, and the eye represents spirituality and opening up and going into the spiritual realm. This symbolizes what I'm talking about. So, with that being said, they built the temples and pyramids, holy temples, pyramids for the women because they figured out, hey, we're living in a womb, so let's so let's uphold our women. Let's uphold this womb that we're living in and make it holy, make it sacred. They made it sacred. And also, they did not have a God-based system. They didn't even call themselves gods and goddesses. They called themselves Neter, meaning that they were a part of nature. They had natural powers. They were a part of nature. They were connected with the universe. They were connected with the stars. They were connected because they studied the stars and everything, the degrees, the angles, the planetary transits and alignments. And this is how they got their spiritual powers, spiritual powers. That's how they transcended and transformed and became celestial bodies by studying the stars, studying the waters, studying the universe through astronomy and astrology. So this is why astrology and astronomy are important. They didn't just worship man in nature. They had all idols and everything. No, they didn't. They didn't worship statues. That's something colonizers came up with. This is something that colonizers came up when they came over to demonetize Egypt, Kemet. This is what they did to go and demonetize this stuff. You feel me? This is why they give symbols like different meanings to paint it as evil, or tainted people have used these symbols and done wicked stuff with it. This is not an evil symbol. This is a symbol of the womb, how holy the womb is, representing the third eye, which connects us to the higher source. You feel me? And they knew, which is why Ra, not Ra, was it Ra? Yes, Ra was the zero. He wasn't a number. It wasn't a number, not he. It wasn't a number because it was nothing. They knew God was nothing, no thing. You feel me? Just a space that overall created everything. And we live in the universe, which is made up of electromagnetic forces, electromagnetic fields, electrons, and it represents the woman. So the universe is a womb that we're living in. Earth is a womb that we're living in. It's just on a lower spectrum, a lower hierarchy, because the universe is a higher totality of what Earth is. And Earth is a lower totality of what the universe is. And then once we trickled that down, the woman is the physical representation of the Earth in the universe. You feel me? And the universe is built off of feminine energy. The universe is built off of feminine energy, which is why Earth is dying. Also, yeah, Earth is also representation of the feminine energy as well, which is why whenever they put society in a masculine patriarchal system, which cancels out the feminine energy, and when they start demonetizing the feminine energy, they start destroying the earth. They just start killing the animals off, destroying habitats, because they stopped caring about the nurturing aspect of life, which is why Earth is in the shape that it's in now. The Amazon is burning. They burnt the Amazon, which is 50% of all life, 50% of all food, and 20% of all oxygen. So this is why all these things are coming into play, and you're seeing the Earth in this form now, because Earth is feminine energy, water is feminine energy, and you destroy the water, you're destroying the world too. So with that being said, with the physical, they didn't worship man or nature. They just knew what was in alignment through the universe. And they knew the woman was the physical representation of that, which they put women on the higher scale, the hierarchy scale, high on the totem pole, and which is why they created temples and pyramids for that. And the Native Americans, since we are all connected, the Aboriginal Americans were connected with the Egyptians. There was a Mayan temple in Egypt, and the Mayans were named the tribe that went across the sea, that traveled across the sea. This is why they had trades with each other. Egyptians and Americans had trades with each other because we were all the same bloodline. All Africans, different types of Africans, different types of Egyptians, different types of Americans, the Australians, we're all linked to each other. We all have the same ancestry and bloodline. And with that being said, this is why it is wrong to say they worshipped man or nature, because they did none of that. I'm tired of hearing all the false idols, all that false gods and whatnot. No, they just knew there were multiple gods and the overall creator was nothing. The overall creator was nothing. They just knew it was multiple gods. And anything and everything that had a spirit and that could be conscious was a god. And that's all I had to say. I hope you guys learned anything. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.